right, the defendant is present with his attorney, Mr. Burbank, and the state's attorney. Earlier in this case, the defendant entered a plea of guilty in this case. A pre-sentence report was prepared. The agreement in this case is that whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 5 years in prison. So
I have been in touch with the complainant. I know what the video shows. It shows that they got into something that he shouldn't have not done. He does have a past, I think, that had come up before in front of you in reference to other instances.
I see a criminal mischief.
Right. And then, well, there was also some family matters that were discussed before. He still has a young child. He's the primary caregiver over in Houston she's a minor. And it does involve the child and the mother. I think he probably just took the wrong course of action with mom. But he has had continuous, though she says, and I'll be very frank with the judge, she says, well, he's not letting me see her, but he is living over in Houston. I believe she's over here in Beaumont, or in this area of Jefferson County area. But this all started over the care and condition of the child, and that he felt that she was not being taken care of properly.
Who?
The child was not being taken care of properly by mom. There again, I think he took the wrong steps. I think he admitted that he does have a history of kind of taking the wrong steps, and because it's right there in the PSI report. That the state and you pointed out the last time we were here. I'd only asked for some consideration in reference that he needs to be corrected and punished. If he goes to TDC, there are more people than him that are going to be hurt, and specifically is the daughter or the child. He does have some other family members that, like today, are taking care of her. But he is the primary, has been taking care of the child.
The elephant in the room here. A couple of elephants are in the room here.
I wasn't going to punch my ticket on that one, Judge.
It's in the first assault on this lady. You pleaded guilty, I presume, but you were convicted, placed on regular probation in 2019 for, let's see, assaulting Jacqueline Frank, the same complainant here. Let's see, by scratching her face with your hands, and at the time, there's a family member. Was again, let's see, he was communicating with the defendant, leaving work, advising him she was coming to get her daughter. LaSalle kept telling her he was bringing her, found LaSalle in the parking garage of the hospital. LaSalle appeared intoxicated, used his right arm to wrap around her neck and telling her to shut up. Then let her go. She attempted to grab her child. He began to claw at her face and eyes, kept swinging at her with his fists, but missed due to his intoxication. The complainant had a large bleeding scratch on her right lower arm and also multiple red marks and slight bruising on her face and neck. Her mouth was bleeding from a scratch on the inside, but wasn't aware where the blood was coming from. So, a big deal was made about this. You come into court with a bunch of strangers who now enter into your personal lives because you aren't acting responsible and peaceful. Are you married to this lady?
Yes, sir.
Well, we all know what happens is, and it happens in this kind of relationship, and it never happens from the male's point. It's always the woman. But the woman's kind of stuck in a situation. I sympathize with them. I've been in a relationship for 40 plus years. And You have good times, bad times, great times, actually. But in difficult times, it's worked out responsibly. I don't go scratching and punching and threatening. And some of these people are put in an environment, they're victimized to where they really don't have that. They want a relationship that's peaceful. But you make this a living hell for this poor lady. So we made a big deal about it. You were put on probation. And here you are. Let's see. Didn't take very long. You were placed on probation for a year in 2019. So I guess you were released in 2020. So let's jump ahead to June of 21. A year later, opens her vehicle, grasps her by the throat with both hands, throws her keys on the ground, grasps her by the hair, drags her, causing her to scrape her arms and legs. Well, that almost seems familiar. Held her down in the parking lot by applying pressure to the back of her head, causing injury to her face. Hold on, though. Where's the child during this? Right there at the scene? I'm sorry. Let's see. Beating the truck and shouting at their daughter.
My daughter was.
No, I'm sorry. This says Lau came to her home on Harding Drive, began beating on her truck window and shouting at their daughter. He then followed her to the Conoco located at East Lucas Drive, reached in the window of her vehicle and grabbed her by the hair. No, I don't. When I'm through, Mr. Bully, you can speak. I tell you, guys who beat up women and girls, pick on girls, they tend not to pick on guys, but you push around girls. I don't like that. That's you interrupted me again. You're a bully. You like to have it dominating your way. But in here, we have the rules. You'll get a chance to speak, Mr. Bully. But you've struck my sensitivity. These letters, I get them all the time from women who are battered women from the relationship. And, you know, I don't know why they stay in the relationship, but they shouldn't be punished for that, for trying to make something work. There's no crime for trying to stay in a relationship because they would like it to work, especially as their common child between both of you. Yeah. In spite of you and your criminal actions, I'm not surprised that they're trying to salvage a family. You, on the other hand, are working vigorously to dissolve a family. Anything else? If not, I'm going to find you pleaded guilty here voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand the consequences of pleading guilty. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this third-degree felony. I'm following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years, and you will be given credit for all time that is credit worthy. You don't continue to commit assaultive behavior, especially on family members, and expect the punishment to get lighter. It steps up because you're not getting it. It's not getting through you. That if you have an anger management problem, it's not for a bunch of strangers to force you into that. You need to take your own responsibilities and independently go help yourself like everybody else does. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. It's how you deal with your mistakes and fix them. You've handled relationships irresponsibly, and a family. I hate families are very important. I do all I can to try to keep them in a unit, but that's no way a gentleman acts. You're a bully. Bullies, when they step over the line, they will get punished. You are not helping the growth of a family unit. You're only working against it with violent behavior. You need to stop that. You will be held accountable.